Well, you better get untired because you know what tonight is. It's 2-for-1 crab legs at Captain Olander's. Well, we're back here on the Skimbo Lounge. Rory, how you doing?
It's another day.
It wasn't just another day, because you know what we did today, folks out there in listener land? We romped around old Montpelier with our good friend Kate Lambden, and she said she's going to listen to the podcast, and I hope she does, because today was a bond. Because we drank coffees, we touched weenuses.
Maybe that's why I'm dragging ass a little bit, because I had coffee in the day, and I don't usually do caffeine. So I'm like, why am I kind of tired now?
Are you 80 years old?
You're the one who needs caffeine to stay alive.
That's patently false. I just enjoy it.
Oh, I see. You're just addicted. I could stop whenever I want.
Yeah, if they were still putting cocaine drops in the bowl at the old 5 and dime, I'd be doing that. I make no compunctions about that. I'm not on trial here. This whole podcast is on trial.
Okay, point taken.
All right, good.
That's fair.
Glad we got that out of the way.
You had me at cocaine. Anyways, you're right. We were hanging out around Montpellier.
Montpellier.
We get le lande as we drank café. What is that how you say?
It must be cafe.
Espresso.
Espresso. That's Italian.
Fuck.
As they say in role models, now you're stupid in 2 languages.
Look at me. I'm so European this episode.
Yeah, you're Eurotrash.
I'm a peon.
Eurotrash Rory would be an amazing character for this podcast.
He'd be British, though. Like, come on.
Really? I heard German.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of those Eurotrash people.
Actually, that's pretty
Yeah,
funny.
excuse me. I can't read the funny English on your dryer. Which of these is for my delicate see-through underwears? It must not shred them. They are made from a very rare silk from a moss that dies instantly when it spins its web.
You know those car washes where you can do it yourself with the long hose? You just come by and I've strung up all my clothes in there and I'm just playing trashy Europop.
It's just Gunther. You remember him? You touch my tra-la-la.
Oh, God.
My ding-ding-dong.
Yeah. And it's just me, and I've got the spout. I'm wearing one of those banana hammocks.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Because, again, I don't know, like, what, that's totally normal for me. And I'm just spinning with the water cannon in my hand.
Yeah.
There's, like, you see in the next car over, it's just, like, a soccer mom. It's a van, and it's a bunch of kids. She just, like, I'm just going to swing through to wash some crud off after the soccer game before we all go out to Arby's. Arby's.
We have the meats.
That's what people do, is they're like, I want some roast beef sandwiches. Isn't that what Arby does? Like roast beef?
Au jus.
From a fast food restaurant, I never understood that. Anyways, they're planning on going to Arby's. They roll through and they all just I'm like, oh, I dropped one of my some weird lederhosen something.
My schlingens.
I bend down and they just see full butt. Maybe a ball
hole?
too. Maybe.
Full butt hole?
Dude, when you're wearing like one of those European banana hammock things and you bend over, that's just a slit. You know what I mean? So you're seeing some.
They're going to see what you had for lunch.
You're like, I see some brown on either side of that yellow stripe.
Yeah, this is how we party on the Autobahn. Are you familiar with the early catalog of Kraftwerk?
It sounds like an awful existence, but I'm completely blissfully ignorant of anything being wrong with it. So
yeah, you're just here to let your
ignorance
cock and
is bliss
spoon hang out.
In this regard, I guess.
I don't know.
That's Eurotrash Rory.
All I'm saying, Eurotrash Rory.
I don't understand, officer. What's the problem? Du hast. It's playing in the background.
Hey, they're vindicated, by the way. I don't know if anyone else.
I think did we talk about that last episode?
No, we talked about it in real life.
Oh.
They are not Nazis. Rammstein are not Nazis.
No, of course not.
I know that sounds crazy, but they made a whole song coming out against it. They were like, no.
When have people started saying this? Oh, my God.
Wait, they think we are fascists? We're just a couple fun-loving guys.
This is terrible.
Oh,
I need my support dog, Bruno. He comes up. Meow, meow, meow. Just a tiny little...
Yeah, look at him.
Oh.
He was bred to be so tiny and subservient.
And look at him. He's got a little pug nose, so he can't breathe.
Look at him.
He's struggling.
He makes me want to cry and also crush his face.
Oh, it's a weird life.
It's a good life, if you ask me.
What, a life of blissful ignorance?
Yeah, I mean,
Eurotrash?
I didn't hear strung out on good German Molly Eurotrash Rory say a damn thing negative.
Just
That could be you 24/7.
Go to the discotheque and...
The difference is drugs.
Oh.
Just start doing a lot of them.
Start mainlining MDMA.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk to some people after the episode.
Yes. I mean,
I've got some things to think about because, boy, didn't that sound like a great time to everybody?
Rory's at a bit of a crossroads. Does he keep being
Hey,
the
I got
American
nothing.
patriot that he is, or does he give himself over to absolute pleasure?
Where do you even go to do something? Do I go to Prague? Is that where I'm going?
To do what? To be Eurotrash?
Yeah. Where's the... I guess I can really do it anywhere. But you got to get...
I think you go to Bratislava.
I've got to get into that scene where they're like, okay, this is the guy you talk to because he gives you the address on the piece of paper for the abandoned warehouse where the rave is going to be held, on this particular date. But if you go the next day, it's a meat packing plant. It's the wrong day, man. They're all just out there just fucking using those like bullet things they have to...
Captive bolt pistol.
Yeah, just pink. Yeah, just bolting. You walk in like, I'm ready for the party, and just get sprayed with gore. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've walked onto the killing floor. Oh, no.
That's realistically what would happen to Rory going to Europe to find himself. He's just hanging like a side of beef.
Yep.
Some Slovenian guy.
I'm just in Hostel. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Stupid American shows up.
Some super hot Portuguese bimbo would come up to you and just be like, I don't know what their accent is like, so I won't even attempt to do it because it'll just be offensively Mexican.
Oh, I see.
So we'll hold off on that one. But
well done for being able to call yourself out for that.
yeah,
You're so brave.
if I can't call myself out on my pre-racism, then what's the point, really?
It's great. I think we've all learned something here today.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
And it's
but
that we shouldn't attempt a Portuguese accent for risk that we will look ignorant. And I knew enough to know that was the case. So you can all learn something from me.
That's so deep. Anyways, what were you saying? Oh, I'm going to be lured by some Portuguese attractive woman who's going to be like, let's hang out for fun times. Haha, wink. And then she's going to lure me back to some like angry fat dude who like hangs me up like a side of beef and goes at me with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't really need to add much more to that.
Yep.
But to be fair,
What would be the scariest song for you to hear while I'm doing this?
if this is it, please let me know.
Right, yeah.
This ain't love. It's just getting hooks stuck through your nipples.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, Huey Lewis would be the worst thing you could play for me.
Huey Lewis in the news.
Yeah, and I realize that it's kind of well-tread territory in American Psycho, but it's for a reason.
It'd be
It's
something
unlistenable
like-
garbage.
It'd be something like upbeat and peppy. I know I do it a lot, but it'd be like, wouldn't it be nice?
See, I was going to go,
No!
the jitterbug.
Yeah, see, something weird like that. I'd be like, oh, this is not going to be over quickly.
Mr. Blue Sky.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, here's the thing, Rory. I can't really,
Pretty dark.
really
Pretty dark
come
stuff.
down on you too hard for that because I would fall for the big butt and the smile too.
This is why I don't trust anybody. I've seen too many scary movies. I know if I ever had any amount of money, I'd be like, you love me for my money. I'd be like, well, why is that, Rory? Why do you think that? Because no one loved me before. Suddenly everybody started loving me when I was worth $150 million. Where did you all come from?
But see, that's what's so
Why are
smart
there so
of
many
you.
well-wishers now?
But that's what's so smart about you having almost no money. Is you avoid that happening. Now someone has to love you for you. You make that hard for them too. But, I'm not the monster here.
But see, that's why I'm so paranoid. And then again, if I am myself now and poor, this really great girl comes up to me, starts getting to know me, I'm like, this is going to end in eye torture. You're trying to lure me back, and you're going to put me in a gimp suit and leave me in a bag. I don't trust you.
Have you seen that movie?
I've seen bits and pieces
Audition?
of it. I've seen the worst parts of it.
Kitty, 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 kitty,
Yeah.
kitty, kitty,
I've seen the
kitty.
worst parts of it and been like, why did I do this to myself? Why?
Well,
I
it's
heard
like
it's just a huge build, that whole movie, to that one
yes,
moment.
it's
Yeah.
all just like a straight, like creepy paranoia drama up until the last 30 minutes, and then it is, in no particular order, a woman who vomits in a bowl and makes a guy eat it.
Yep.
She cuts off his foot with piano wire. She sticks acupuncture needles into his eyes.
Yes.
There's a guy she's got in a bag
Yes,
who's
there's-
got like all his limbs cut off.
Yeah, just someone else she's done that too, basically.
You know what, Rory? That's fucking hot.
I knew you were going to fucking say something like that.
It's a comedy show. We're here making jokes on the comedy show.
Yeah, but you're really into that.
I know. I bring it up every time, and it's just like,
At a certain point,
there's truth in every joke, right?
isn't that's how you express the weird parts of life through humor? Yeah.
But that's going to be
Something
the
like
thing
that.
is some unattractive woman is going to give me a blood eagle, and I'm
Oh,
going to die
God.
with a smile on my
You're
face.
going to go to Valhalla.
Bell bottom blues. Just hanging from a tree
Jeez.
with my lungs out of my back.
Wasn't it great? It was good for me. No, I don't think so. But again, that's the world these days where I'm always just like, oh, you're very nice and you're talking to me. I assume it's going to end in murder.
Well,
mine specifically.
Relevant to that, I decided to hop back on Tinder for a hot second today.
Oh, God, why?
To see what the bots were up to, because make no mistake, that's all that's left.
I was like, I think I still have a profile. I just don't look at it.
But to your point, oh, she's talking to me. This can only end in murder.
Yeah.
Anytime someone talks to me on Tinder, I'm like, okay, how sophisticated is this bot? And they'll be like, hey, oh, I love Casey Musgraves too. And you're like,
Oh, wow.
oh, okay, that is on my profile, so we might have a ball game here. Yeah, send me your number. I'd love to talk to you. Ooh, you went there awful quick.
Wow, that was weird.
Why don't you send me your number? Unmatch.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You scared the robot.
Just a spiel.
Yeah.
It's a weird... See, here's the thing that I realized about Tinder in the country versus Tinder in the city. It's a lot more comfortable in the city because you can go to a well-lit public area where, like, if anything really weird goes down, where she fucking throws you a Zig Heil or some weird... Like, you know what I mean? You're like, Jesus Christ, lady.
Oddly specific.
You can get the fuck out of there. It never happened to me. There's some weird people in the city, folks. But if something weird like that goes down, you find out it's like a really brutal whatever. Like around here, there's a lot of people like, let's go on a hike. I'm like, that seems like a great place for you to accidentally help me roll my ankle, and then you leave me to die for the wolves.
Yeah.
30 miles out in the middle of nowhere. Like
Drinking your own piss in a gully.
until I hadn't seen it as the prospect of a first date, going on a hike with a stranger seems like a really sketchy fucking thing to do, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Like, really? Especially if you're a woman. Like, I'm not trying to be super sexist about it because I feel like, ladies, you can murder me just as much as I could be the person to murder you.
And I hope you will break my neck so that I can come. But that's a different story.
That's him. I don't do that to me. We're
comedy
we're
show.
individuals, but I just thought about it the other day. Where I was like, what a weird fucking thing to offer. Be like, yeah, let's just go hike in the woods, just you and me in this place with poor cell service in the woods. What could go wrong? I have certain skills. I'll keep you safe.
Were you hiking with Liam Neeson?
Yes, you got it. I can't do the
Just
accent,
Liam Neeson in
so
a
I didn't
wig.
even try.
I had a great time at Tapas today.
Would you like to go into the woods with me? I'll light us a fire.
I
There's a little Daniel Plainview in mine though too.
He's hard to do, yeah. I made trail mix with no raisins in
To
it.
tell you that I'm a hiking man.
I think you'd agree.
I think you'd agree. I'll go out and I'll find a nest and I'll get some eggs from a bird and I'll cook them for you.
I drink your milkshake.
I make you eggs. I eat them up. Where's this going? I don't
know.
I'm just talking about how scary it is to date strangers in places where I have poor cell service because I'm poor and I have the Sprint network.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking more and more about your point, which is, yeah, if a Tinder girl was like, hey, I'm outdoorsy, let's go on a hike.
Yeah.
You kind of, I would fall for that. I would say, yeah, oh, that's great. Mom always said taking a girl for an activity date is way better than taking her to a bar and making her feel like there's pressure to get loaded. So, like,
There's got to be an equilibrium around here, though. Let's go instead to the well-lit park across from the police station. Doesn't that sound like fun?
well, and realistically,
Bring a mask.
yeah, I don't know, Rory.
Also, just in case there's cameras, take the mask off for a second in case you murder me, so there's facial recognition.
I want my death to go unsolved. If she kills me, she deserves to get away with it. She's doing everyone a favor, A. B, she's giving me the greatest sexual gratification of my life by killing me.
Oh, that's great.
So, I mean, is it really a crime if it's technically victimless? Let's not get bogged down in the legality of the whole thing.
I'm just thinking like 30 years later, and I remember when your father brought me to a well-lit area because he thought I was going to murder him. What a beautiful first date it was. That's going to be my future. I'm like, shut up!
So I told you not to tell them.
He made me take off my mask and took a photo and sent it to the police just in case.
He doesn't completely trust me still, so every year on his birthday I pretend I'm a KGB sleeper cell. And I stand over him with a pillow and a hammer.
I learned Russian specifically. That's love.
I can write the Cyrillic alphabet with my left hand.
Listen, if I were ever to be dating a girl and she to fuck with me on like April Fool's Day, set up like an elaborate radio system in like a room and like waiting for me, hey honey, what are you doing? She's just in there incoherently speaking Russian into like a soup can. I would love that woman forever. I would never let her go.
Well, you heard it here, ladies.
You can't do it now because I just spelled it out for you. You're going to have to figure out something.
Bone up on your Belarusian, everybody. Rory's single and ready to mingle.
What a wonderful thing that would be. Like, you're just the right kind of weird.
We were talking about it earlier. We're talking about the mother on How I Met Your Mother. Not to get into that whole show again.
Kristen Milioti can have me any day.
Yeah. She can get it. But like, yeah,
what a hot take.
The manic pixie dream girl kind of thing. Oh, look at her. She's doing a Broadway play with her toast.
She's making her English muffin talk. That's so cute.
Yeah. I thought about that in that show. I'm like, well, she's clearly mentally ill because she's making her English muffin sing, but it's adorable.
Sure. I think we're all a little crazy.
Yeah.
She probably was, yeah. She married Ted Mosby. He's a fucking douchebag.
We're not going to talk about the show anymore.
Go
kill yourself.
Well, I figure at the turn we've got to talk about the movies that we have to review.
We do. In fact, we should hop into our larger Netflix discussion. But before we do, I want to plug something. I ain't even told you about this.
I wish you wouldn't.
No, it's dead serious too.
Oh.
Watch. It's not even a funny thing.
I'm not. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll let you. I'm not. I shouldn't railroad you is what you're saying, or whatever you're about to say.
No, you're still going to laugh.
I shouldn't.
But it's a serious thing.
You worry me.
Jeff and I started a podcast.
Oh.
We're doing a music podcast.
Oh, I see.
It's called Out on That Line, and the first episode is coming out Monday. This is coming out Friday. And the first episode of Out on That Line is coming out Monday. So if you enjoy the Skimbo Lounge...
So you're a traitorous whore.
I'm two-timing.
Branched out.
Yeah, I'm
son
like...
of a bitch.
Call
We're
me
on
Michelle.
season 6 and you're trying to have a spin-off series over there? You piece of shit.
No. Think of me more like someone who is integral to this show's success. Worf. Worf was on The Next Generation. Worf was also on Deep Space Nine. Worf only got better.
He went to a news show after the other one ended.
No, he was doing... Okay, I don't actually know that he wasn't splitting time in the timelines. I just know he was on both shows, and they were both better for having Worf.
Are we talking about the chronology of when they shot them, or are we talking about the chronology of the show?
Well, when did Gene Roddenberry die?
I don't know. Sometime during The Next Generation.
Well, then your whole argument falls apart.
Why?
Because I said so.
Oh.
Because I want to get away with it.
That makes no sense at all.
Worf.
So he's got a new podcast coming out.
Yes.
It's about music.
Yeah.
Listen to it.
Yeah, Jeff and I are doing a music podcast, and it's great.
That's cool.
It's great stuff.
So you guys are just doing, because he's out in Tejas.
Yeah. He's got some time on his hands. Not too much, as Styx would say. Music reference for you. Already relevant.
So you guys are just doing it over the wire like we did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
And we talk about some music stuff and some music things, and
some
it's
shit.
Delightful.
Some things and some stuff.
So check that out when it comes out Monday.
Exciting.
Yes. Thank you for your support.
Yeah. You better not do better than this podcast.
Oh, well.
Oh, we got 1,500 listens our first day. I will kill myself with a hammer. I will do it. I will put it live on YouTube. I will kill myself.
Hard to beat the Skimbo Lounge.
It's the meanest thing we've said about ourselves in a while right there.
Truly. Also, full disclosure, I just nailed my funny bone.
Yeah, good.
With
good.
wild abandon. And it hurts so fucking bad.
Get in the moment.
Holy fucking shit.
Don't
my
shy
whole
away from
arm
it.
is numb and on fire.
Yep. Just give it a good breath.
Oh my God. Oh, you guys are living through this in real time. I want all of you to bang your funny bones on something hard right now. Dude, I saw sparks when it happened.
If you're with other people, one of you do it, and then the other one can pretend to be me, just not feeling anything over his pain. Or your friend's pain, or hers. I mean, whoever's out there, non-binary theys.
I hit my elbow so hard it gave me diarrhea. I'm not even kidding. I just felt my guts go.
Listen, you shit yourself before the podcast.
Hey. I didn't shit myself. I shit in a toilet. I shit like a regular shit happens.
Listen, this room kind of smells poopy. I don't need you to tell me what
Well,
you
'cause
have or
I
have not done in here.
Buried farts in the vinyl.
And what are not farts if not tiny particles of shit?
Okay, Werner Herzog.
What are the particles of poo you are pressing down, down?
Technically, if you smell it, it means particles have entered your nose.
Yeah, thanks for doing that
You've
to
got
me.
literal shit inside of you.
Yes.
That it didn't come from your own
It has
butt.
become part of your microbiome. So,
Rory,
yeah.
I think I need to go to the emergency room.
So that's why I...
That was pretty bad.
Is it really that bad?
Yeah, it fucking hurts a lot.
Bend it. Nice and slow.
can't.
Yeah, you're okay.
It's not on fire anymore, but let me tell you,
Yeah, you're
when
okay.
first contact became a thing, woo!
Just hit it again. Because hear me out. Fred Flintstone, on an episode of the Flintstones, doesn't know who he is after he bonks his head with a bowling ball. Now, the only way to get him back, they bonk him on the head again to get his memory. So, your elbow hurts a lot. So, the only way to make it feel better is to really fucking smash it again as hard as you did before.
Well,
and then all the sense will come back.
First thing I'm doing is moving that chair. Gotta tell you, not an encouraging sign that as I lightly pushed a chair away from me, it hurt my arm. So I definitely grievously injured myself.
Well, it's scary for you because you work out all the time. That's just normal for me. Ugh. Oh, it hurts.
Yeah, you
my
gave yourself
bones.
bursitis shooting balls up at the range.
They told me that milk would make my bones strong, but it didn't. It didn't at all.
It just put more visceral fat around my organs.
It's like there's holes in my bones.
Milk is about as nutritious as soda, and you can
Fuck yeah.
take that to the bank
well, you still
on the comedy podcast.
So to take it seriously or don't take it seriously. I'm gonna drink milk still. I
Open
don't
to interpretation.
tasty milk. Yes. I know somebody who puts ice cubes in their milk,
No.
and I think they should be shot for it.
That's like putting ketchup on eggs
I
or
don't
macaroni
understand.
and cheese.
If somebody out there, if you're the kind of person who puts ice cubes in your milk, like, what are you doing? Especially if it's like skim milk, because you're making that shit like 75% water.
Oh, hey. I want to run this by everybody, too, before we get into our big Netflix thing. Along these lines, I don't know who it was, and if it was a listener of the show, I'm really sorry, but you need to be called out on this. Who the fuck is making strawberry basil twisted creamies? Strawberry basil.
Basil?
Are you fucking high?
Wait.
You better be.
Wait. Basil.
Basil, the leaf.
Yeah. As a twist with strawberries.
Yes.
Strawberry and basil creamies.
Strawberry basil
Have you ever
creamies.
had this before?
No. Now, here's what I'll say,
You
Roy.
just don't want to waste the money on doing that. You just want a maple creamy like most people. Or like a vanilla chocolate twist. Or there's other things. There's tons of other flavors. But that's such a weird... It's like,
You have two options.
have yourself this pumpkin spice creamy. Oh, we could make millions.
I mean, a pumpkin spice creamy is one thing because
It's a
it's
twist.
something
One
that's...
side's pumpkin and the other's spice. They don't tell you which.
One's pumpkin and one's shoe leather.
I got mine. It was pumpkin and cayenne. It hurts.
Well, that's the other thing is like spiced chocolate, Aztec dark chocolate. I
Yeah.
understand that the
don't.
flavor combinations between these things technically work. Like you could make a salad that's got strawberries and a balsamic vinaigrette and basil and all this other stuff. A nice summer salad. But it doesn't belong in your ice cream.
So here's the thing. I get it insofar that I don't get it. Again, spiced chocolate. Even like for me, like I like my chocolate the way I like my chocolate. You know what I mean? Like I'll put some peanut butter in that shit, but like people like mint in their chocolate and stuff like that. Like I don't really like that.
I get that, and I guess
don't.
that's just as weird.
Well, you know why I don't is because I think of it as being too much like toothpaste and brushing my teeth. It's like my brain says to me like you're not supposed to chew mint with your, you know what I mean? It gives me the feeling like of the taste of fucking toothpaste. I'm just like I don't fucking.
Well, that's bad ice cream then, because if you've had
It's not
like,
even just ice cream.
real-
It's like nice mint chocolates and that kind of stuff. It's all the fucking same, dude. For me.
What about peppermint patties?
Yeah, I don't like peppermint patties.
What about Andy's mints?
No, I don't like Andy's mints.
You're kidding me. What about Thin Mints?
No,
Girl Scout cookie Thin Mints?
no,
No?
no.
Rory, they're the best one.
I don't like mint and chocolate. I don't like mint in my candies. I do mint when it's a breath mint and when I brush my motherfucking teeth. Except when I do the medicated stuff sometimes and they give me the wrong tube and it's like a bubble gum. It's the worst. It's fucking awful. Anyways, like toothpaste.
Oh, for some
Do
reason,
you want mint or bubble gum?
I didn't make the leap with you.
Because I get, sometimes I was close to having cavities on one side of my mouth, so they gave me this special toothpaste.
I thought you were saying you have chronic bad breath and they gave you a...
I don't have halitosis. Fuck you. No, they gave me the wrong tube, and I ended up with bubble gum and shit. I hate it. Like fucking 40 minutes after, I'm like, oh, yeah, still taste that. Again, mint, though, don't like it in my chocolate. Don't like it in my ice cream. So basil, to get back to your point, I would do like a strawberry chocolate. It's like it's like 2/3 of a Neapolitan.
I just remember seeing whoever this was enthusiastically recommending it on their Instagram story.
Sadist.
It was just a picture of...
I'm sorry, masochist. You're beating yourself at that point.
Yeah, oh yeah, but there's an element of sadism in it because you're like, it's really good. You want to try... It's like saying to someone like, hey, come smell this bag. And you're like, it's going to smell like your head. It's going to like smell like the inside of your hat. Why would I smell this? No, just come smell it. Just come smell it. Just come smell it. Because it's sadism and masochism.
It's a little bit of both. So it's abusing yourself so you can abuse others.
Exactly.
Oh,
I bet
perhaps.
this person didn't actually enjoy their ice cream. They just want you to get it and go, well, I want to be cool, so I'd better say this was good, but it sucks.
You know what you need to do now? Do you know where they got it? Is it somewhere nearby?
No, I don't even know who did this.
Okay, I was going to say, if there was something we could get nearby, you've got to go and try it.
We could probably make our own.
Fuck you. I'm not putting effort into that. I want to go somewhere and have it made. Or I'm not. Listen, I feel like when you're putting together ice cream and the flavor of basil, like you hit the certain point during the mixture where it's just, and just like spirits escape. That's wrong. It's not. It's a conjuring of the devil's work. I got nothing else. Have I been vamping long enough?
What are you vamping for? No one asked you to vamp.
I'm waiting for you to interject.
About the basil ice cream?
Yeah, I've been rambling about it too long.
No. This episode's over. You fucked up. It's done. Stop the recording. I'm finished.
You're the one who brought it up.
I hurt myself. I got us out of that. I'm injured. I'm playing injured, and you can't even fucking...
You didn't hit your head.
Yes, I did.
Some days
just
I wish
not
you had.
today. Well, so should we transition into our Netflix
sure.
discussion?
Better than basil strawberry ice cream.
I want to cover a couple things about Netflix before we get into our movie reviews.
Okay. Well, yeah, lead us right in.
I want to put this out there to you. When I say the name Sarah Cooper, what do you think of?
Sarah Cooper.
I forgot you're not a Twitter guy, so this might not mean anything to you.
It doesn't mean anything to me, really. I was thinking of Beth Cooper. I love
you, Beth Cooper.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's my closest reference to that.
Fun side story about the lead actor in I Love You, Beth Cooper, Paul Rust.
Yes.
He was part of an improv duo at UCB, and there was one night, I forget what it was called, but it was a night where the trick was to basically try to shock everybody. At like shock and revulsion was.
I feel like you told me that story, yeah.
And he came out and laid out a tarp and spread his ass cheeks apart and took a giant shit.
Yeah.
And the whole event got canceled from then on.
It's fucking...
So he won,
yeah.
But at what cost?
He won it forever.
Yes.
And good for him. I think about the guy from I Love You, Beth Cooper, pulling out a tarp and taking a shit.
Cool. Yeah, he like spread his butt cheeks so that the payload, like, you have to watch the hatch open. You know?
Good for him.
I think that's pretty cool, honestly.
Came out there, laid down a tarp, and took a big old shit.
I think that's pretty sweet, honestly.
It's pretty fucking cool.
We should do that at the RNC. First mention of politics, too. I'm proud of us.
Yeah.
Anyway,
took us a while.
Netflix. Sarah Cooper. So Sarah Cooper, I think I've talked to you about her before.
No.
She is the woman who gained like 2 million followers overnight because she does those videos where she lip syncs Trump.
Oh, right. You have brought her up. People talking about her being like this generation's like best satirist.
Our Mark Twain, the greatest satirist of our generation, is a woman who like making big, giant mugging faces.
Yeah, dude.
Lip syncs.
I can say that, Donald Trump as a poet doesn't make it true. Hey, look, 2 talks of politics.
Oh, wow.
But you know what I mean? Like I can say whatever the fuck I want. It doesn't make it fucking true.
Look, I'll admit that
who's saying these
a
things?
Certain element of this
bunch of morons?
Is jealousy that she made it overnight. I'm comfortable enough in what a piece of shit I am to say that.
I don't care. I think that it's fine, like being like, I lip synced famous speeches and like did it in a stupid face, and people fucking love it.
And I do not hold that against Sarah Cooper. I do not hold it against Sarah Cooper. She is not doing anything. She's doing what everybody did, what we did when quarantine hit, and you're just keeping yourself amused and putting your shit out there.
Yeah, just
and
hanging
it
out
happened
bullshitting.
to hit with everyone.
Content creation. Sure.
Yeah, and she just happened to have what the nation was looking for. And now she's getting a Netflix stand-up special.
I don't know how that's going to go.
A sitcom deal.
That's the thing that scares me about Netflix right now is they put out a lot of shitty stand-up. They put out a lot of shit. There's
awful.
There's some great stuff on there. Like, honestly, like it's fairly controversial. The newest stuff like Chappelle has done. But I think it's very good.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I think there's some really good stand-up out there. I've seen, I can't remember what the writer's name is, but he does this thing where there's, I think it's 3 microphones on stage, and he kind of switches between them, and one's for one-liners, and one of them's like serious discussions of his life and like writing with people, and then one of them's for like something else, but like it's called like 3 microphones or something. I can't quite remember. It's very good. There's some very good stand-up out there, and then there's some shit, some absolute dreck. That's just basically like, oh, you know me because I was a funny person in this one thing that you saw on Netflix. Isn't it crazy when I was doing this weird? You're like, what the fuck is this? This isn't funny.
But that's my question is, are people going to follow Sarah Cooper to Netflix when she's not doing the Trump thing?
What?
I've seen her stand up, and I don't think it's fair to judge what this Netflix thing will be based on that because it was 5 years old and it wasn't very good.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, it's hard to even say because you can go back to like when Comedy Central was doing the Comedy Central Presents, and those were really misleading in a way, and like some of the stuff they did was hilarious and some of it sucked, but the way, and who was it who talked about this?
It was Doug Stanhope.
It was Doug Stanhope who talked about this a little bit, where he came out and he was like he told a joke and he was like, what's my fucking name? And nobody knew, and they were all laughing at his shit. And it's because they bring in people to go watch comedy for free. They did this in Boston a lot. We could have done it while we were there. And you fill the audience, and then you bring in a bunch of successful warm-up acts. You bring in some killers who are going to show up and warm up the audience so that when you come on, they're going to laugh at fucking everything. And then they're going to edit together in those moments when nobody was fucking laughing at anything you said, and they're going to give you a good half hour, and then they're going to put it out on Comedy Central where everything is just a fucking laugh riot and it's all the best shit you said. You know? As if everybody who did Comedy Central Presents was Mitch fucking Hedberg. Which wasn't the case. There was some shit back then, just like there's some shit now. But you always wonder where you're like, look, the people in the audience are going to be fucking laughing at these I've listened to, you hear a bunch of it. It's just objectively not that funny humor being just laughed at like it just crushed for an audience of fucking 600 fucking people.
Well, that's why the smartest thing comedians can do today, and some of them are doing. Mark Norman did it.
Go back and listen to Dane Cook. I dare you, and you crack a fucking smile.
But like Mark Norman is doing it. Joe List just did it. They are self-releasing their own specials for free on YouTube.
Sure.
Because they know they're filming them in front of their audience.
Yeah. And their audience is there
putting
to laugh.
them out there for they're trusting their audience to then disseminate it through YouTube and to bring people eyeballs to it that way. Because if you look at the contracts, like Bill Burr has talked about the contracts that people like Showtime and not HBO, they were a little more on the level, but what certain entities, especially Comedy Central, will charge to tape a CD, to record a CD.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking insane. They expect you to pay for the whole thing and for them to make all the money.
In a lot of cases, when it's not them just like churning out content like the way I was talking about, when you're like an entity where they're like, you'll potentially make money off this if it's successful. I talked about it weird enough backstage with Joe Coy back when I did stand up in college, and Joe Coy came and opened, or I opened for him. And he was talking about how, on his, like when he started, like he booked his own theater. It came out of his pocket, and he sold every fucking ticket. And some of them, because he wanted the place full, he begged his friends. He begged everybody he knew to come out and be there. But so when he did it, everybody there was somebody who supported him. Everybody. So no matter what was happening, it was all high energy. Everybody knew him. Everybody wanted to see him. Everybody liked it. Everybody was there for him. And that's like what you're saying, that you load the audience. Like that's what it became. It was like when he was doing it for Comedy Central, they expected him to fill a certain part of that audience at a certain point. And I think about that, I'm like, damn, that's a lot of pressure. Like, can you imagine having to like put 30 butts in the seat at, $40 a pop or 25 even? It's kind of a daunting thing to think about.
It is daunting. So, yeah, I don't know. stand-up is a weird thing.
But so that's what I'm saying. I guess the lead point is that it's misleading. So when we sit there and talk about Beth Cooper,
Sarah
Connors,
cretin.
we talk about Sarah Connors. It just, you wonder if she's going to go back in time just one more time and save the world from Terminator, or if you follow me, Sarah Connors.
Well, the important question is she Daenerys Targaryen or is she Linda Hamilton?
Ooh, interesting.
Which Sarah Connor?
Ooh. I want it to be Daenerys Targaryen.
Nope, Linda Hamilton.
Fuck. She's also
Because
good,
Daenerys
though.
Targaryen is a shitty actress. I have come to realize.
You're okay, that's a...
I'm calling it.
What's
Time
her
of death.
Amelia Clark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She seems lovely.
She's got very expressive eyebrows.
She does. And she seems lovely. And I just want to, make her tea and swaddle her.
Well, I haven't seen
And
any of the
eat
stuff she's
basil
really
strawberry
done since.
ice cream with her.
I watched her in the Terminator movie, which, not her fault. The Terminator movies are writing with a weird timeline, and they're making the same fucking movie over and over and over again. Listen, it's been a couple years. The CGI's gotten a little bit better, so you can make Terminator a little bit better this year. Get Schwarzenegger. Get him out of cryo freeze.
Yeah.
And they just get the
He just shows up like Marlon Brando. He's just 30 pounds overweight and sweating profusely.
It doesn't even matter. Put him in a green suit. They'll make him fucking 80s Schwarzenegger.
I'll be baby back ribs. He's just gorging himself on rib meat.
they just edit it out. CGI's gotten to amazing places. Anyways,
Yeah, it points to a disturbing trend. And again, I'm not trying to shit on Sarah Cooper because it's the American, much like us electing Trump, we chose Sarah Cooper.
we make bad decisions sometimes.
And it's not her fault. She seems lovely.
Well, if she's, I'm sorry,
but
man.
she's not doing anything that a 12-year-old couldn't do.
She could have some good jokes, but the point being is the thing that made her famous was lip syncing to speeches and
Is
mocking
that
them.
gonna translate to an interesting point of view on the stage? Maybe
Yeah.
I need to get her book. I think
She's already written a book.
She's written 2 books. One was, I believe, How to Appear Smarter in Business Meetings, and I believe one of them is something like How to Talk to Men Without Killing Yourself or something like that.
Oh,
So I feel like maybe I should read that and see what we're in for with the stand-up. But if it's more...
you never know. Maybe she's very clever. You know, it's hard to say. I've seen plenty of comedians who I thought were going to suck who really pleasantly surprised me, and I've seen some people I thought were going to be great who just absolutely farted out an egg. Yeah. You can never tell. I just look at it at the point where I'm just like, it's hard to tell from fucking specials. I miss kind of going to see stand-ups.
Well, keep missing it because the shit that people are doing at tailgates and in parks and stuff like that
I don't like
sucks.
it. I don't like it.
It sucks.
So
It's very depressing.
When you guys applaud, just honk your horns instead.
Fucking Bert Kreischer, he's fucking 59 years old. He's going to die of a heart attack any day. He's out there shirtless being like, I took a shit the other day that made my wife vomit. Yeah, bro. I'm like, oh, no. People paid money to come sit in a truck and get eaten alive by mosquitoes and watch this?
Yep. I
don't think so.
There's something really weird about it too. Like the stand-up, talking to cars or just doing your bit. Like I remember when I had to open for this one guy, I had to send him, before he would let me open for him, I had to send him my jokes. And so I had these people came in and recorded me. And I remember telling jokes about like Star Wars, and these guys didn't know anything about it, so it didn't translate for them. It was like the whole bit I used to do about. You helped me out with it with George Lucas, how he made Wookiees look like what they looked like because he'd never seen a vagina at that point in his life. Anyways, I did that whole bit, and they just stared at me, and they're like, "Why don't you do some of the stuff that like is gonna land?" And I was like, shit, man. You guys, if I'm gonna bomb, you should just let me do it. Like, but I remember,
who doesn't know who the fuck Chewbacca is?
I was like, you should send it to the guy. Maybe he's smarter than you two assholes.
Who was the guy? What was the comedian?
It was Baron Vaughn, I think, when I had to do that.
Really?
And it was Baron Vaughn, or it might have been Joe Coy again. It was one of them, or maybe it was because when I did, maybe it was Tammy Pescatelli.
That was a fun night.
It was a long time
when you
ago.
opened for Tammy Pescatelli. So like in ascending order. It was you as the college opener. Then they had like a local New England opener.
Yep.
And then they had Tammy Pescatelli. The fucking local guy sucked balls.
Well, he did a like 10-minute joke.
He was awful. You slayed to the point where Tammy Pescatelli was like, your friend is very funny. Because I remember I was standing backstage, not realizing backstage behind a pile of risers with her. And
Yeah.
she was like, this guy's funny.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, he is funny. He's doing a joke about Blade wearing Argyle.
I did, yeah. I remember shitting my pants walking up to that because I didn't know how many people they were going to have set up, and there were a lot of people in there.
But you were smart. You strung them in with the fucking like inside material, the inside baseball for St. Mike's.
Well, it's like we were just saying, though. It's like you needed to know your audience, and I knew my audience super well, so I knew exactly what to talk to them about. Yeah. And I remember kind of blacking out because when I came back off stage, like one of the people who was running the show had to walk over and hand me my phone because I'd spiked it on the ground.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's healthy. That's like when that girl broke up with me and I walked into traffic.
It was back when I had the Nextel phone. It was a military-grade phone.
Oh, yeah.
And I was talking about my envy of iPhones, where I was like, it's great, you guys. Like, you're all sitting around, hanging out, shooting texts with one another. My phone charges me still for texts. Like, you guys are playing games. Oh, Bejeweled looks fun. Check out my phone. I just smash it on the fucking ground. So, yeah, it was a good bit. It's a good bit.
Your version of Siri on that phone is just the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket. Good God, Fitzgerald, pick up your goddamn phone.
It had a walkie-talkie built into it. I could have been on stage and my dad could have chirped me. Hey, Roar, what are you doing? Dad, I'm performing.
Your mom fell in the shitter again.
Yeah, exactly.
Need you to come home and help me extract her.
It would have been the most amazing thing ever if that happened. I'm like, I can't make this up. This is my life. I'll be sitting in history class. And
you put the microphone up to that one at that point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Roar, Chris Hansen has some fun things to say. Oh, great. This is going to be good.
I have some thoughts about the Jews, Roar.
Oh, my God. No.
Boppy's been drinking.
I got to turn it up. But no, the whole point I was trying to make by bringing that up was, doing stand-up in front of just a screen and no audience seems like such a horribly inorganic, strange thing to do.
I bet Bert Kreischer, when he was doing it, thought he was doing actual stand-up for the Cars. Like he was a comedian in the Pixar movie Cars.
That'd be fucking incredible.
Dude, I heard fucking Mater's coming to my show, dude.
That's the only time I think I would ever go to see a stand-up is if he specifically was doing stand-up comedy for the vehicles.
You put a very loud speaker under your car and you flick the headlights every time you talk to like articulate them like their eyes. Great show, Bert.
Hey guys, what's the deal with rack and pinion steering, huh? Am I right? Just come up with like seriously all shitty auto humor and stuff and just pretend like they're all car people.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Because half the people wouldn't get it and they think you'd had a psychotic break. And then everyone else would be like, this guy's like fucking, this Andy Kaufman level shit.
Ladies, find yourself a man with a hatchback. You know what I'm saying?
Just awful.
Not at all.
Half of them try to get their money back. That's the kind of show I would do.
Yep. You just leave all the money in a pile and say, why don't you take what you think tonight cost you?
This is everybody's money.
Yeah.
They would take all of it.
Honor system. I trust you guys.
If I'm getting an audience of people that I know out to support me like all these other comedians did, and I leave a pile of the money that they gave me to come to the show, I am not seeing a dime on that table after I leave. Well, we
realistically,
fucking helped him out, so...
We showed up.
Yeah. I assume that he like took the amount like that the theater, takes out of their cut. We're not like, leaving him with a bill. That wouldn't be cool. Yeah. But other than that, I'm taking my 20 back.
Well, I'd help you out. I would put LSD in a spray bottle and just walk around and mist people in the face. You look sweaty. Happy.
And I just go on stage like, right before I go, and everyone just starts laughing.
What's
with me.
the deal with peanuts? You're so salty.
Oh.
Half the audience has a bad time. I just run out of the place. No, wait, I love you.
That's gonna be comedy. I need a guaranteed reaction, so I need to dose my entire audience with drugs. I need to pipe sarin gas into the fucking crowd. So
those are two slightly different things.
They can't tell how bad I bombed.
Yeah, because they're dead.
Yeah.
That's a cheery future.
Well, it's the future Netflix is delivering us. It's only a matter of time before one of these assholes records their car thing.
Here's why I don't have faith too much in that in Sarah Connors is because
it's Beth Cooper, please.
Sorry, Beth Cooper. Here's the reason I don't have a lot of faith in that is because of how much Netflix has been phoning in everything these days. Everything is a paint by numbers, these are like, I swear it's writers sitting in a room with an algorithm going, these are the things like, okay, we want to make a crime heist film. These are the things that every successful crime film from 1970 blah until now had in common, and we're going to go ahead and catalog all of these things, and like here's at this point in the story there needs to be the betrayal, or else you're not going to feel this for the main character, and that emotion isn't going to carry you through to the conclusion where you get the gotcha moment. Like, it seems like it's all just like a coloring book. Every movie I've seen.
Well, here's the thing. If they actually, and this is going to dovetail into our discussion of Project Power.
Sure, which is
one of the problems with Project Power, was it would actually be kind of great if they stuck to any kind of template like that. The hero's journey is basically what you just laid out. And
sure,
it's a great template for a reason. Not every movie has to do it. In fact, some of the best ones eschew it entirely. But what a lot of these movies today are doing is not necessarily let's fit into the hero's journey template. Let's fit into the summer blockbuster Marvel movie
entertainment.
We don't have enough character development. We are not mature enough to handle character development.
We don't want to see these people change.
We're scared to touch thorny issues.
Sure.
And we don't have the cognitive capacity to give you anything to think about. So we're going to cram in a bunch of action sequences.
And don't get me wrong. For actors in this film, I love Jamie Foxx.
Yeah,
I think he's great in most. Like, I've seen him in some shit. Jamie Foxx seems like the kind of guy who might not be reading those scripts. I don't know. He's been in some garbage, and he's been in some amazing shit.
How about The Amazing Spider-Man 2? I'm ready for a world without Spider-Man.
Oh, God, that was him.
I'm the nerd that gets turned into Electro.
Yeah.
I fell into a thing of eels.
You know what I really like about it is his beginning character, like him being like the nerd, is like downtrodden. I thought he did a good job. I thought he did fine with it. Again, over the top, and that's a bad directing call.
Tried to do a Jim Carrey Riddler thing with him, and it didn't quite work.
It didn't quite land. You could see that he put his most effort into it, but it's like the director needs to fucking call him back a little bit, and they need to go into the writer's room and be like, this shit is fucking ham. Can we cut some fucking shit off of this? Like, my God.
To be fair, the Jim Carrey Riddler also didn't completely stick the landing.
Well, and so why you're comparing it to that is pretty apt.
Exactly. It's a low bar to clear.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem with it. But back to the other movie.
Project Power.
There's also Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who is like, again, he's just sitting in that little pen full of puppies. He's adorable.
Oh, he's so dreamy.
Yeah, I love Joseph
He
Gordon-Levitt.
hangs dong in this movie.
Yeah.
I would assume behind that towel.
Yeah.
I saw his little treasure trail. I bet I know what that leads to.
Good times. Good times had by all. Listen, if you're going to be gay for any guy, it's going to be Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I think we can all admit that.
No, for me it's John Hamm. You know,
Fine.
older statesman,
Okay, yeah.
demonstrated
You
hog.
go ahead and get John Hamm. I'm going to be over here with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And when John Hamm is drinking whiskey and ignoring you like he's Don Draper, and I'm over there hanging out with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and our two fucking border collies, you're going to be pretty jealous.
I think you mean corgis.
No.
You're going to normalize them so that Tanner and Anna can't.
No. I'm
No?
sorry. I can't do it.
Oh, okay. Well, I was
Maybe
giving you an opportunity to fuck someone over and you didn't take it, so.
Golden retrievers, maybe. No. I mean, out of spite, I got to live with those dogs every day of my life. And you want to talk about fucking someone over, I don't like corgis that much.
Yeah, but it's a spite dog, Rory. It's like,
No.
the whole point. Yeah. And to name it what they're going to name it.
Oh, you mean just to take it and be like, our corgis are better. But also, not it. We don't care about
If they're
going to
name their corgis Terrence and Phillip, you get two corgis and name them Terrence and Phillip before they can.
And then I'll get two more and name them Quentin and Tarantino.
There you go. I think I told you once before what the greatest, meanest prank I think I could do to Tanner would be like, so tell me about a tattoo you want to get.
Just show
It's like, oh, it's going to be cool, dude. It's going to be like an 8-bit version of Bruce Springsteen jumping through a hoop of fire. I'm like, and I'm just writing it all down. I show up the next day with all the Vaseline and the clear cellophane bandage. I'm like, look what I got on my tummy. And it's just his tattoo.
That's pretty savage.
That would be the ultimate.
Oh, man. That looks great.
I did it in tribute to you, Tanner.
I got ink poisoning. That's okay. Went
Tanner,
to the wrong guy.
If you got this far into the episode, text me and tell me to go fuck myself. I'll know what it's about.
Don't worry. I won't be getting ink.
I won't be getting a text either. But anyway, Project Power.
Project Power is a story about, and again,
Yeah, tell us what's about.
If you didn't know that on this show we spoil these fucking up things, so here's the part where you need to pause the episode and go watch Project Power if you don't want anything to get spoiled for you. Oh, I was doing MASH. Anyways, Project Power is this story about this drug that you twist it. It's a little capsule, and it for 5 minutes gives you your superpower, or it kills you. It's one of the two. They don't know why. Some people, they just split open like fucking melon rinds. Ooh, it's gross. But other people are like, I got ice powers. And just because your ice powers manifest doesn't mean it's not going to kill you anyways. Some people become fire people. And like, you see like the people are like, oh, he's using that fucking drug because like his face is all fucked up. And that's sort of like this hint into what his power is going to be, as if you needed that as a viewer. So they kind of hand you that. Like, someone else will watch this movie twice and be like, oh, that's so fun that you see these things. I'm like, you see it the first time. Anyways, some people are fire people and some people do this and some people become invisible, and so crime is kind of an issue, and they're trying to tamp it down. This is happening in New Orleans and only down there. This drug is just fucking everywhere. Turns out what's going on is it's a pharmaceutical company trying to unlock evolution, and they're trying to figure out the drug, but they can't do human testing because it won't get to that point, so they're just illegally doing it on the street. They're just flooding the fucking street, and they're collecting all of the data.
Yeah, which right away, stupid, dumb. Yeah. Like, I makes absolutely no sense. But here's what I will say. I liked certain things about this movie. I'll tell you when it really had me.
Okay.
Is before Jamie Foxx showed up, before any of the weird pharmaceutical shit happened, when the only premise was there's a new drug on the streets and it'll either kill you or it'll kill your baby. No.
Or it'll give you powers.
Or it'll give you powers.
Sure.
That
Joseph
was
Gordon-Levitt shows up as a cop. He's trying to figure it out.
That being street level in New Orleans post-Katrina with the protagonist that they had, which was the girl, I think the actress's name is Dominique Fishback.
She's good.
She's really good in this movie. She's awesome. She's a like teenage aspiring rapper who's running the drugs to basically pay for her diabetic mother's treatments.
Yeah, which is a little on the nose, but they kind of like they do all right with that thread.
Right.
That's fine. It's not the fault of the acting or the actors. It's more the fault of the frame of what that kind of story has to be. Is like there's a reason that she's out there selling drugs so that she can help. Like you got to give her some depth, and you got to make her not like a piece of shit.
I think they didn't want to make the mom a piece of shit, because if they made the mom as a black woman like a strung out, like, because it is again like a post Katrina milieu. So if she's somebody, wow, that sounded douchey.
Yeah, you do.
If she was someone who like lost everything in Katrina and fell apart, and the mom's like strung out and all that kind of stuff, it's seen as enforcing a negative stereotype about black people.
Sure.
But you could look at it that way, or you could look at it like this is what the government did to these people. It ruined their lives because our response to Katrina, much like our response to coronavirus, getting political on you again, fucking sucked.
Whoa.
So what was most interesting to me about the movie, and they just like didn't go far enough with it,
explore it well,
was for them to keep it contained to this is a story about New Orleans in, I believe it's like the distant future, or the not so distant future. It's like 2024, or something like that.
Like it's been a couple years, and medicine's really starting to. And so here's the thing, though: Jamie Foxx, you don't really know what his character is. For a while, you're thinking like, at first they go, "This is the guy pushing it on the street. He's the kingpin," and for like 2 seconds you believe that, but really you start to see like he's taking down the drug dealers and he's heading out, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. And with these type of movies, it's all about like you figuring out within like the last half hour, like, oh, these are how the pieces all fit together. But it's clearly like he's going to get his daughter, and his daughter turns out to be like the first permanent superhuman or something, basically.
She was, they experimented on him, and then when he had a kid with his wife, they had like a legitimately superpowered child, and now she's like the key. Let's extract her bone marrow and make the drug or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
The problem for me is that there was a really fucking interesting movie set up and teased.
There was somewhere in there.
Which was, you have a white cop in Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I'm sorry to make it all about identity politics and race, but that's why we have movies like this that can say something valuable.
I was like, you are.
Yeah, interesting.
Well, the movie does that.
You read a lot of Gavin McInnes.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he's buying this drug from this girl to get an edge because he's going up against superhumans, and he wants some of the cops to have it. So
the interesting thing they could have done with that is, again, you have a white cop, and you have people who are living disenfranchised on the streets. They've been left behind and forced into desperation post-Katrina, and now they have the means to fight back, and he's trying to level the playing field because he's got this blind belief in what he's doing is
as being
keeping
right,
law and order. Now the balance of power has shifted. They had kept the story
Well, it'd
really
been a
small
cool
like
aha
that.
moment where it's like some of the people are doing it for nefarious purposes because they've got the power, and then other people are doing it like the reason that most people is because of a desperation.
Yeah,
you know?
this is to
There's people out
protect
there-
my neighborhood or feed
and he's
my
out
family.
there fucking these people up, and he's thinking he's doing it for the right thing, but he's also,
That was
causing
the
serious harm.
Interesting thing about it was ordinary people finally having the means to fight back and improve their lives. Think about and this, I don't mean to sound glib about this, but these George Floyd and Jacob Blake protests, if you could bring that drug to those where you have cops and members of armed militia fucking shooting people,
Yeah.
if you could bring those pills to the protesters.
Well, that's a whole philosophical thing, too, that we don't really want to necessarily get into about whether or not someone who is engaging in a peaceful protest would want to use a superhuman enhancing
no, but
drug. in
all
order
I'm
to
saying is it's an interesting
enact vengeance on
idea
vigilantes.
when people are when
I
their
get it.
backs are to the wall and you've mistreated them for so long and now the balance of power shifts.
Sure, in terms of a movie, I think that's very
That's a
fascinating.
really interesting movie.
Yeah.
And then they went ahead and added on top of it the big clunky action subplot or main plot of Jamie Foxx, again, great actor,
Sure.
but make him the chief of police or something like that.
But he's the dad.
But he's the character that can punch and kick and talk his way out of anything. And
Kicks his he's one dimensional. He's super one
great at
dimensional the whole
everything.
time.
He's Superman.
Well, and he also has like a super great power when he uses the pill. He can just whip energy around him and fucking. He's basically like a supernova of energy. Just boom.
Can we talk about the superpowers too?
Sure.
We can talk about structural issues with the movies.
There's
but
a lot of
I wanna-
structural issues with the movie because it's like, again, they kind of give themselves that free will. Like, it'll happen at random. Some people are fine, and some people take the pill and it kills them right away.
But they only did that once. I only saw one person.
I saw
take
one
the pill
guy
and blow up.
explode. Well, the chick who was the ice person had a crystal come out of her mouth, so she clearly died.
Yeah, because her powers were out of control and not regulated. But here's what bugged
Again,
me
that's-
about the powers.
Sure. Not very inventive.
I was okay. Well, the guy suddenly the thermoregulation power where suddenly he's on fire. I'm like, interesting. You didn't go with laser eyes and flight and stuff like that, which is kind of where I thought it would go. Super strength and all that kind of stuff.
You thought you would have seen more a different range of stuff instead of it being just like a couple of.
Well, but we find out that it's kind of like an Island of Dr. Moreau thing where
That's true.
you
I forgot
have
about that.
one animal characteristic. All the powers
Yeah.
come from animals. And
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you when I say that Jamie Foxx's massive energy burst power comes from a pistol shrimp.
Yeah, he's the pistol shrimp.
Because the cool thing about a pistol shrimp, for those of you who don't know, they have these very specific claws.
Yeah,
They
it's
almost have like super
bitchin'.
shrimp arthritis, where when they're underwater, they snap their wrist back at such a speed that the gas bubble that's trapped inside their claw shoots out at such an alarming rate and creates such an insanely hot. It becomes so insane. It's hotter than the sun.
It's like 6. Yeah, it's crazy.
It will kill fish if it hits them.
Well, yeah, that's how it. Yeah,
So Jamie Foxx is just
it's a lightning shot, just
whipping
super
his
quick.
shrimp
Boom!
powers around.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot it was shrimp powers. That's right. He's a pistol shrimp.
So on that alone, it's a fucking amazing movie because Jamie Foxx has the abilities of a pistol shrimp.
Well, yeah, he has that monologue that he talks about too. He talks about, you heard of the pistol shrimp? That's how you know, is because he says it. I don't know why I didn't put 2 and 2 together. He was legitimately, that's what that was the pistol shrimp. He wasn't bullshitting. Oh, thank you for that. I don't know why I didn't put the two things together. And some people are like chameleons and I figured, I was like, what do you think would be a fun animal power? I'd like to sprout painful wings from the back. The one dude had the frog's ability where it rips a bone out and uses it as a weapon.
Did he have that? I missed that.
Yeah, there was a
I know
dude that was
someone
fighting
talked about it.
I'm pretty sure Joseph Gordon-Levitt kills this guy. He pushes him down onto the guy's. He pushes his face down onto one of his bones and impales him.
So let me
Pretty
ask
hot.
you this:
Pretty hot for my future husband, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Well, what animal was your hubby channeling when he foiled the bank robbery and got shot in the head? And it just ricocheted off of his skull.
Rock Geodude. It was some kind of armored something. You know what I mean?
What animal can you shoot in the head and it doesn't die?
Well, it wasn't. It was his skin. His skin was super, it was like little hexagonal kind of
It
looking.
was like
thing.
Kevlar, yeah.
Yeah, what would that be? If anyone out there knows more about animals. Well, so he was a pistol shrimp, so it could be fucking
Go out there. I want you guys to go out there
turtle?
and just
Maybe he's a
shoot,
turtle. It's
shoot
a
a bunch
turtle
of
shell.
animals and tell me
Yeah.
if they die when you shoot
somebody
them.
with a turtle. Put a revolver to that thing. I mean, not super close, but like 3 feet, and blast him. And if that works,
Send us videos of yourselves shooting turtles with a shotgun and let us know what happens.
thank you at Skimbo Lounge at gmail.com.
Nice wad cutter bullet. Just stick it up his little butt and see if it shoots his
No,
head
no,
off
it's got to be
front
at the
of
shell. Don't you? No, that's too far. Poor turtle. I want it to survive the shotgun blast.
Great.
I don't know what animal it is now. So I think again, Geodude probably.
That was just not well defined, which
He's
is
I'm a rock actually. He's a pistol shrimp, and I became a rock person.
I mean, that was one of the many problems with this movie, which again, I didn't think was terrible. I think
Are kangaroos armored? He's a coral.
wallabies are.
Some kind of coral? I don't know.
No, but it wasn't like Rocky. It was like it hit.
Maybe it was like maybe it was their version of Luke Cage. He's got the abalone skin, right?
Is that what Luke Cage had?
Yeah.
Abalone? Like a clam?
Yeah, something like that.
I'm pretty sure you can shoot an oyster and it'll die.
But it's like a specific because of our skin. He's like layered like that though. So when you shoot it, it just like compresses in on itself. So yeah, I think that's what it was. It was abalone. I don't know. Someone correct me on that. I'm gonna have to go back and watch all of Luke Cage now. Which don't get me wrong, I really like that first season. They'll explain in the first season. I don't need to watch the second.
His DNA was fused with a cuttlefish.
It
Now parrots just chew on him.
he just squirts ink. Do you want to see my power? He just vomits ink. That would have been mine. You know the dangerous power of the cuttlefish? Hey man, shut up. Oh yeah, you're about to find out. Twist the little cap, swallow it, and just vomit ink for 5 minutes.
Rory's just retching black bile.
Oh, this is the worst thing ever.
Oh my god, it hurts!
It came out my nose.
It's burning my insides.
It secretly is just your insides.
You're just laying cuttlefish eggs while you do it.
Yeah, and they all just sprout to be me.
The government.
I'm not that crazy.
I don't know. So Project Power, I
got to give it a miss, man. I'm gonna say just don't bother.
Well,
I would say really. I mean, there's some fun. Like, it's the kind of movie that I would have fun watching if it was like a big group of people and you weren't gonna pay too much attention. It's fine there. If you get like really like you're an alcoholic, right? Maybe one of you out there, and
I'm listening.
and you're like, I want to watch something while I'm drinking, but I don't necessarily need to remember it. This might be that for you.
So you really did not like this movie.
It's not that I didn't like it. It's that it just didn't do anything for me. And again, I have a problem structurally when I think a movie has a good idea that they don't execute on. And I would say that this was a movie that they executed on because it looks good, because anything can look good these days when you have a budget. You know, you can hire anything to make anything look good.
But that's what I'm talking about with this formulaic stompy stomp action movie cycle that they go through. They don't trust us enough to give us the really hard social, like the
But that's how successful movies are these days. I mean, let's be honest. There was some story to the Marvel movies, but there was just entertainment. That wasn't like
there was barely story for the Marvel movies.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, my brother's evil, and I've got tight buns.
Yeah, and I've got to stop him.
Can Natalie Portman get 2 fingers up there?
Yeah,
Find out.
There you go. That's beautiful.
Spoiler alert.
That
she
happens.
fingers my urethra.
That
and I
happens.
fart lightning.
Watch the deleted scenes, people.
It's true. That's in Thor too.
But that's what I'm saying is like that's where those types of films have gone to these days.
It's just unnecessary. Like, I understand the whole point is to make money, but at a certain point, you're literally just going to put like a quarter in the machine and it's going to spray lights in your face.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like you look at it, you're like, well, I kind of want to give you an A for effort, but it's not even really there because that's what the budget was, you know. So
it's not bad. Like Bright was a bad movie. Bright was an actively terrible movie because it was written by Max Landis.
It was really
Fucking
not
idiot.
great. It was ham-fisted as hell.
But this movie like did certain things very well. Again, the lead girl, I believe, Dominique Fishback.
The acting is what I enjoyed.
Great.
The acting is what I enjoyed, but again, I feel biased because most of the acting, I mean, again, was done by people that I already like. I'm like, I'll watch Jamie Foxx in Stealth. Let's go do it.
But imagine if they had
Her and
made-
Jessica Biel in an AI flying a jet.
Yeah,
I'll watch that.
classic. But just imagine if they had made this movie with no names. it would then be truly terrible. A lot of the innate charisma of Jamie Foxx and Dominique Fishback.
That's what I'm
and
saying. Is
Joseph
like,
Gordon-Levitt.
They could have had good actors, though. You never know. Like if they picked other also equally talented actors, I'd probably be saying the same things that I'm saying now. I'd be like, the acting was fine. You know, they brought in people who knew what they were doing and knew what the roles were, but there wasn't any difficulty for them because look, which of them evolved? Which of them like grew as characters?
Nobody. Nothing.
I would say that what's the name of the woman who played the drug dealer?
Dominique Fishback.
Dominique Fishback. She is the character that kind of evolved the most because, you know, you kind of saw that distrust that she had initially with these people kind of form into better relationships. But other than that, like, Jamie Foxx is one track the whole time. And yeah, that's learning something.
It wasn't
that's not changing.
It wasn't even set up as her arc. It'd be one thing if at the beginning of the movie her mom was like, yo, kid, you need to learn how to trust people. I know that you feel fucked over because your dad walked out on us. And
so what would you say her arc really was then? Was just like
shouldn't have one.
Getting the money was what her whole story was.
Shouldn't have an arc. No one in this movie had an arc. That's the problem, is you can't get invested in them. You can like the performances, but
Joseph
they hold you
had a little bit of an arc.
They hold you at arm's length and don't let you get close to the characters, so you don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with a lot of films like this, is they do exactly what you're saying. It's like we've gotten into this point where a lot of action movies, and maybe this is just a Netflix problem, but it's a very paint by numbers thing, and it's like they've got the coloring book wrong.
Well, it is. It's Netflix by numbers. I mean, imagine if Netflix made Parasite. Their aliens would drop through a fucking portal in the sky, and the two families in Parasite would have to team up to fight the Chitauri, led by Loki, so that they can unite the Infinity Gems and summon Thanos to fucking stick Ant-Man up his ass or whatever happened in that movie.
Let's be honest. That's how they should have done it. If they would have named them something more original than Infinity Gems, I mean, that's still too close. You know what I mean? Like maybe Eternity Gem would have been better because you get, you know.
Eternity Jewels.
The Eternity Rocks.
Cool Jewels.
The Rocks of Eternity.
Yeah.
The rocks of ad infinitum.
But that's what I'm saying is Parasite didn't need explosions to be a really interesting, exciting movie.
But it's the difference between action-driven and character-driven. Because Parasite is good because it's super character-driven.
And character is always going to win.
Of course,
because you get sucked the fuck in.
Yeah.
As opposed to look at all the pretty... Like, seriously.
Again, like it was... That was my main problem. It was a very pretty, well-acted piece of garbage. Why does that get $100 million budget?
Was that the budget? Did you look that up?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm sure it was tens of millions of dollars with the people who were in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's no doubt.
I wouldn't put it anything south of like $70, $80 million.
I'm going to go ahead and say $140 million.
Yeah, something pretty high.
I know that's a lot, but
not these days. Not for something with that much CGI.
Where the fuck does Netflix get all the money to do this?
They are raking it in.
But it's like you could make 1,000 small, intimate, interesting movies by people who have a fucking voice.
They're
not
only just doing it here, they're doing it in Spain, and they're doing it in China, and they're doing it in Germany. And they're doing it in all these places. And the most successful of all of those places, we see dubbed over here.
What is the Eurotrash Rory's favorite movie to watch on the German, on the Czechoslovakian Netflix?
It's the one they did that was live action about Thor, but it wasn't really Thor. And it was very interesting.
It was just several dominatrices killing Thor.
It was very Norse. It's very interesting.
Yes,
very interesting. Anyways, but that's what I'm saying is like we're seeing like the worst crap because they don't give a shit. Like they're just trying to produce stuff because they don't understand this. This is not their business. Their business for the longest time was just a platform that we watched other people's movies on. And then at some point they got such a big budget. They're like, we're going to do this ourselves. This is like a fucking, some major, the fucking, I know we, bad name drop, but it's like if the Weinstein Group was like, we're making a platform that shows all these movies, and now we're going to have our hand in something that we've never done before. Netflix didn't have a, like...
I don't think you want to talk about Harvey Weinstein having his hands and stuff, Rory.
Well done. Yeah. Thank you for bringing... But you get what I'm saying? Netflix wasn't like a storied fucking company that like had done a bunch of this shit before. They are super new. And it's not that they are successful at it or have done a good job. It's that they have more money in the world, and because you came to watch the fucking Hunger Games Part 2 that just got released on Netflix, you're also going to peruse through and see all this other shit that Netflix made themselves that they're putting right next to it.
Well, and you put people they know. You put Keira Knightley and fucking Ansel Elgort and
Chuck Will Smith in there. And
Will Smith, and we need one more. We need a woman, and she's going to be Cate Blanchett. You put
good.
all of them into a movie together, and it's about botanists who discover that they all have the same father, and they go on a road trip together, but then they get abducted by aliens who are secretly working for the government. Like,
there's a quick jump in from Maya Rudolph for
It
the
doesn't-
comedy, and you're like, whoa, look at that.
it doesn't have to make sense. It just needs to be 90 minutes long, and it needs to be something you can cut into a trailer.
And that was my problem with Power, is that, or whatever the fuck the full name of it was.
Project Piss.
The power gems, the infinity gems, was that's exactly what it is. It's like it was like the acting was good, but I'm biased because the people they put it in are commodities that I like. That's my problem with it, is it could have been anybody doing that and executing it just as fine. You put famous people in it, that's what drew me to being like, okay, well, this is compelling because of that. Oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in this. I love him. He's fucking great. And that was my only positive fucking thing to say about it. Again, if you put nobodies in there, I'm going to sit there and go, this was a shittily written movie. This was poorly constructed. They could have done something way better with this concept, and they decided to do this because they can throw a bunch of money at it. We're going to go watch it. They're going to get the metrics for it anyways. They're going to get to put it in the fucking top 10 most popular blogs for the week, see it as a success. It will be there forever because
It needed to be a worse movie or a better movie in order for me to be interested in it in one way or another. Because it
That's how they
started
get away
off,
with it,
I was
though.
really interested in it, and just as every minute wore on, they just chipped away at all the good shit
Yeah, you're just like,
until it was indistinguishable from The Last
any
Days of
other-
American Crime or Bright.
from any other film that does the same, that's trying to do the same thing. It's like a little bit of a sci-fi crime drama. You just, again, paint by numbers.
I just didn't do enough with it.
Yeah, and that's okay, I guess, to a certain extent. But when you've got that much money, I see it as being the kind of thing that they don't care about, because at a certain point when you're watching Netflix, you get to a point where you've watched everything you want to watch, and then after that, you have to start looking at their crap.
I feel like
And it doesn't seem so bad because some of it's the best of their crap,
I think once you've watched everything Netflix has to offer, they unlock the Netflix Red Room, and then you can watch like snuff films and stuff. Just opens up a secret menu.
Wouldn't that be exciting?
And it is you being taken in by a Portuguese tourist and kidnapped, ball tortured, but
Jesus.
you love it because you're a ball hog.
Oh,
We haven't
am I?
talked about that recently.
I'm going to say, I thought it was just like, this is just old grainy videos of Matt Damon hitting this Cantonese prostitute with a vine. Like, I don't...
Well, some of his finest work.
Yeah.
Fun fact,
Did you
by
see
the way,
Green Zone?
WWE is doing like a virtual fan experience thing where they're piping in. You can Skype in from your computer and be in the crowd.
And they show your face and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing that at like NBA games or something as well.
They're doing it in certain situations, and WWE did it, and it did not take long until somebody put an execution video on one of them,
Yep.
which was pretty.
I was saying execution video. I'm surprised I thought you were going to be like balls.
The only
Lots
ones that
of
I've heard
balls.
of were execution video,
Lots of
guy in a
anus.
KKK outfit waving a Confederate flag, and someone did a cardboard cutout of Chris Benoit. Now, come on. That one's funny because it's wrestling related.
Okay, that one's clever. I mean, fucked up, but clever.
Look, this is the comedy show.
The other ones
We're
are
the
4chan.
experts. Yes.
100%. It's a weird thing. But anyways, so the second movie... that
Well, Project
we
Power, stream it or skip it.
Skip it.
Skip it?
Skip it. Again, I already laid out that. I'm like, if you've been drinking and you're looking for something to just throw on while you play some Smash Bros on your Nintendo Switch, go ahead. That's fine. It'll get you through a couple of hours if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for something that you're going to be like, wow, I'm engrossed in this, skip it.
Well, can't masturbate to it. I can't recommend that. So I too will say skip it.
There you go. Done and done.
And the next movie.
And the next movie we did was a little bit. You made me want to pick one, and I had a couple of different ideas, and I was like, this other one's this big blockbuster kind of fucking film. Let's go with something a little more indie. And so we reviewed The Long Dumb Road, which has two. I don't know their names.
Tony Revolori
Yes.
and Jason Mantzoukas.
Yeah, Jason Mantzoukas, as Rafi from The League, and he's also done stints on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
He was Derek on The Good Place.
Derek, yeah, which was fantastic.
Derek.
Very Derek. And then what's the other gentleman's name?
Tony Revolori.
Tony Revolori, who you will know as Flash from the new Spider-Man.
He's also the bellhop in the Grand Budapest Hotel.
He is.
That's him.
Yeah, he's had a really good career so far.
Yes.
And so this is basically a movie about him, and he's headed to Los Angeles, where he is going to start art school in college, and he leaves his very nice parents' house in this kind of shitty car with all his shit in the back and a camera, because his art is that he's a photographer. He's trying to capture, the American. I don't even know.
He takes a lot of pictures of like Hardee's and Panda Express and shit like that.
Like random things like that, and people, and he runs in to this other random guy because his car breaks down, and he runs into him as he's being fired from this mechanic's shop. And so the guy helps him out, and he's this super nice guy. And he's like, "Well, is there anything I can do for you?" And he's like, "Well, I'm going down the road. You want to give me a ride?" He's like, "Yeah." Well, at first he's like, "I don't know about that, man." But then eventually he's like, "Yeah, okay." And gives him a ride. And that's kind of where it all devolves.
And
it doesn't really devolve.
The interesting thing is it doesn't devolve. As soon as he was like, "I don't know you. I'm not going to give you a ride. I'm not comfortable." And Jason Mantzoukas, whose name is Richard, who's just, if you don't know who that is, look him up. He's this like crazy, scruffy, bearded guy. He looks like if you picked him up as a hitchhiker, he would kill you.
Yeah, it'd be a bad decision, is what it looks like.
I thought he was conning this kid and was going to like really fuck with him and ruin his life.
I thought there was going to be something really fucked up that was going to happen.
But he inadvertently ruins his life in like an adorable way, and doesn't even ruin his life. Just like shows him what's important.
I see it as being, it's the kind of movie, it's this indie kind of low budget film that was probably made on a shoestring budget, except for the fact that they got some pretty big names in it. It was a Sundance film, I think, and it's like a little snapshot of this thing that happened in this guy's life, is how I see it. Doesn't like destroy him. It's one of those like coming of age kind of movies that you would have watched.
It's a very sheltered kid driving from Texas to Los Angeles for art school, and he picks up I would say borderline personality disorder, self-destructive drifter on the way.
Yeah,
but nothing fucked up and horrible happens.
No, it's just a weird dichotomy between the two of them, where the one guy is trying to use this guy to like sort of have this like American experience of the road. Like, this guy's real, man, and he's, I've lived this sheltered kind of like rich kid's life, like well off, he says. But here's the secret, folks. If you've ever said to anyone, "Well, we're pretty well off," you've got money. Anyways,
we're upper middle class.
Yeah, fuck you. So that's kind of the vibe that guy gives. And he does it in a really like kind of meek, way. You never look at him where he's like, "Whoa, he's got fucking money bags." But he's naive. Like, he throws out around a wad of cash in a dive bar, kind of stupid things. And so, he's trying to use this drifter to be like, I can take photos of him, and he's this raw, real guy. Kind of scares me a little bit. Ooh, what a fun story to tell, people when I get to college. I had this crazy trip out to fucking LA and kind of, did this from fucking Kerouac. I don't know. But so he did that kind of fucking thing. And the other guy is just like a bum. And he's nuts. And he's got some fucking real problems. He's an alcoholic. And this kid is sitting there willing to pay for his drinks in order to take a picture of him and have this fun time. So he takes advantage of him that way. And you're watching them both develop a friendship and kind of come to terms that they were using one another, and how they end up being kind of okay with that in the end. They kind of grow some stones. Like, his car breaks down, and he can't get to LA. So the other guy's like, "Oh, get a ride from this guy," and the guy fucking robs him. And so they're
no. You skipped a step, because at first they're hanging around the hotel.
Oh, right. Go on.
And they meet Meryl Streep's daughter and that other girl, Thaisa Farmiga.
She does a fine job, but every time I see Grace Gummer, I'm like, I know who you are.
Yeah, I know who your mom is. I know who your parents are.
I know who you are.
The hardest I LOL'd in that movie, though, was when Tony Revolori and Thaisa Farmiga are going back to the room to like make out and cuddle and shit. And they open the door, and you just see Meryl Streep's daughter with her back arched and her legs spread wide, and all of a sudden Jason Mantzoukas pops up and goes, "Bro, in or out? What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, it's fucking great. Like, it's still an option to come in and hang out.
Great. That popped me hard.
That was hilarious. That was the funniest part of the whole movie.
But then the movie, and I'm not saying this is bad, it's just a statement of fact, it didn't do a lot of things that I expected.
Like thematically?
Not even thematically, just things I expected to happen. So, for instance, when the two couples, we'll call them, separate and they go into different rooms. Richard, the older one, gives the young sheltered guy a condom. And
Sure.
is like, hey, remember...
You thought he was going to have an awkward moment. Like something was going to happen.
Well,
there.
I thought when he gave him the condom and he went back in the room and the girl fell asleep without them having sex, that she was going to wake up and find the condom and be offended. And be like, oh, so you just thought you could meet some random chick and
You thought there was going to be more conflict
sludge
there.
fuck her in your hotel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be more for Tony Revolari's character development, where it's like...
Well, it's like what they say about the gun in the first act. It's like when you see a prop like that, you expect it to get used. I'm not saying that in the term of the condom, but you expect the fact that it's there to develop into something. It was placed into the scene not just so she could go to bed and he'd be like, oh, okay, and just set it on the pillow next to him and just kind of give it a pat.
But it was like the knife thing. Like the Jason Mantzoukas has a knife, and when he falls asleep because he's been acting erratic, Tony Revolari throws it out of the van.
Yes.
So you plant the idea that there's a knife in play, and then it literally gets thrown out the next second.
Leaves the scene.
Only to come back later to go, oh, wouldn't it be great if we had that knife now, but you threw it away. That's the only thing my dad gave me, which we never talked about my relationship with my father.
It's just like this weird bummer thing.
It's just ham-fisted in there.
Well, there's some stuff in there where you're just like, they just did this to make you like feel awkward or feel bad for one of the people. It's again, they're like those little emotional pulls that movies do sometimes to be like, you need to feel bad for this guy because we're about to set up this thing. I feel like a lot of that in the movie was a little over the top. Like there's the scene when they're at the diner and he proposes, Jason Mantzoukas proposes to Grace Gumner, that character, and she, like everyone's laughing. He's like, no, don't laugh. I'm serious. And like it ends with him calling her a cunt.
For expressing an opinion about the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, for expressing an opinion about the Rolling Stones. That again, the whole thing's pretty banal, and he's the one who seems like kind of like a erratic nut. I thought moments like that were funny but weird and gave you this really weird insight into who he was. I thought there was going to be this sort of stranger build because of those sort of moments of him being erratic. You know, that we're going to. It was going to compile in some different way. Because again, the movie's real climax is them going back to the guy's house who robbed them and getting their shit back. But even that, to a certain extent, doesn't feel like it has any real stakes to it, does it?
Well,
none of it. Like,
the movie never felt like it had stakes because the first 3 times they could have gotten into serious trouble,
nothing comes of it.
It didn't. Almost to the point where I thought the movie was doing it on purpose.
Yeah, I thought it was going to get shot dead or something.
They go to the dive bar and they end up picking a fight with a bunch of rootin' tootin' Texans, and Jason Mantzoukas punches one in the face and they run. They get back to the trailer and they're safe and sound, and the kid goes, "You don't think they'll find us, do you?"
It's like, no, fuck no.
I was like, okay, that's telegraphing,
foreshadowing,
that the Cowboys are going to come back, and how are these 2 guys going to get out of it?
Yeah, they're going to beat him to death 2 miles down the road.
And in getting out of that, what is it going to tell us about these characters?
Sure.
Like, will we get to see Richard prove he's really good at something? Like, will he diffuse the entire situation somehow? Because he talks about having a philosophy. Yeah.
Something.
And we needed to see that. It's not enough to just tell us.
Now, here's the thing for me when that happened. What it told me about the story was I was like, okay, but sometimes shit like that happens and you get away and you just get away. Thematically, that's true to life, you know, in the sense of like...
But other shit didn't make sense true to life in the sense that like they get stranded in the wilderness, they get picked up by a woman who like fought off a bear.
Like helps them out.
They get that
this
great story.
Interesting fucking
and
thing.
then they go to get their shit back from the guy that robbed them, and they quietly creep in the house.
Well, the devil's advocate
break the potted plant. That was all not real to life.
Well, the devil's advocate there is that there's a reason you're telling this story about these 2 guys is because this is a particularly interesting time in their life, and that improbable thing does happen. Again, you could have made that them getting their asses kicked. For me, I thought it was going to be this building of tense. Well, there's the knife, nothing happens. There's this fight and nothing happens. They're awkward to these 2 women, nothing happens really. You know, it kind of fucks over his ride. They get robbed, but they get away with it. They go back, they get their shit. I was waiting for, for him to be like, hey, look, it turned out, and then he gets fucking shot. You know, just this thing, and you got this guy, and he can't process it, and he can't stay. And he's got to get the fuck out of there. And now he's witness to a fucking murder. And like,
see, I didn't think for a second it was going to go that dark.
I thought there was going to be something really fucking crazy that was going to happen because the whole movie has this weird air of like it's humor, but it's tense. and they keep doing these things that in any other movie, like you said, would have built to some real actual something, and it never happened ever in this film. So again, by the time you get to the late part, I'm not expecting him to get shot. I'm just saying that would have been something surprising for me. Something that kind of like, not to blow up the movie Super, but when you're watching that, which is the guy is Dwight Schrute in The Office, and Ellen Page, right?
Ellen Page.
Yeah, who's in a lot of great things and a fantastic actress. In this super realistic kind of, it's got some zany parts to it, but it's about him being a superhero and kind of this like our world kind of thing, and just how awkward it would be to be to be a superhero hiding behind a dumpster waiting for crime to happen, And that has this really heavy moment where somebody gets murdered, and you're like, holy shit, that came out of nowhere. But if you were to do this thing, holy fuck, that's what would probably fucking happen to you.
Well, and tonally, it wasn't out of line with the rest of the movie. It
Sure,
wasn't
intense,
a left field
extreme.
tonal shift. It was an unexpected event. It was a literal bomb going on.
Which is why I would have been interested if that had happened in this film, but I wasn't expecting it.
But it wouldn't have been on brand with the film's tone if somebody died, because the whole thing was not. It was set up theretofore. If you suddenly got to the third act and one of the main characters died, nothing in the movie was set up to suggest that. It was very light. It was very slice of life. It was very hangout. All things I liked about it. It was just when we got to the end, I was like, so this guy, the Tony Revolori, the young guy, has to arc by throwing a potted plant at a guy's head to get his shit back.
It's like an uncool Linklater film.
It just this argument that he was like sheltered and needed to take more of a chance. He didn't have any difficulty doing any of that.
No.
He was a very passive main character.
Well, and they also kind of give you the sense that at any time, all he has to do is get a phone and call his parents, and everything will be okay.
Yeah.
That's the only real thing. Is like, is he gonna fucking keep going, or is he gonna, go ask his mom and dad for help? Like, that's the stakes. There are no real stakes. The highest stakes for you are like, is he going to get stabbed by this transient?
And if they had played out, if they had really danced on the head of that pin where it's like, okay, this guy is unstable. 1 minute, he's super manic depressive. 1 minute, he's being really affable, and he's like, let's go get hamburgers and all that kind of stuff. But then when you're in the line and you do one thing wrong and he turns and he starts berating you for the way you're talking to the people at the drive-thru, which is an actual scene.
But there can be a build. Look, he punches the guy in the face. He freaks out with the
girls. But that
girls.
was a really interesting thing that they started to do, which was to play with the idea that this guy is so volatile that maybe we tease out things are going to get dangerous, and they just, every time they built to maybe this is going to go in a dark direction, it would immediately course correct with something adorable. Oh, he farted in his sleep. It just didn't. So never once did I think it would end with any kind of meaningful, dark, disastrous
No, well,
death.
with like the summation of what happened, and again, the fact that they always just kind of walk around it, that's exactly what you're led to believe. I'm saying that there would have been a way to have built to that sort of tone. He did get more erratic, and you do start to get that, the kid. So bad with names.
Tony Revolori.
Tony.
But things needed to happen. He needed to
can see
stab a
his-
waitress at Denny's, with a
he
fork.
He punches the good old boys and they run off. He freaks out with that girl from high school, tells her that he loves her and all this. He's doing stuff that normally would seem almost slightly weird and disturbing if like some guy you just met and fooled around with the night before is the next day like, I'm serious, I want to marry you.
But then they all laugh about it.
Yeah,
like
they laugh to the point where they all fucking run off and consider him a creepy fucking dude.
He meets he just shows up at his high school flames house to try to like rekindle things.
Ends up yelling at her.
And she and her daughter end up laughing about how ridiculous the situation is. A guy you haven't seen in 20 years is in your house screaming in your face. A boy you don't know is in your daughter's bedroom alone with her, your teenage daughter. Just
True, yeah.
hanging out, doing nothing behind closed doors. And you guys just laugh that off?
And drink a shit ton of wine.
I mean,
again,
come on.
there's certain themes there where they could have built a completely different story, is what I'm saying. They could have built themselves to, I think, a more compelling all is lost moment between the two of them, which you kind of get, where it's just like they're at this dark moment where it's just like, fuck off, I hate you, you fucked my life up, and they're arguing about why they used each other, kind of.
It's just
It was a talkie, which is fine.
Ultimate assessment of it is it was plot-wise a flat line. The characters didn't have amazingly special arcs. and that's fine. Hangout movies, slice of life movies. I love the work of Richard Linklater.
I was going to say, it's kind of like an uncool Linklater
They're
film.
great, and they serve a function. It doesn't have to be a tightly plotted 3-act structure hero's journey to be a good movie. That's not what I'm saying. I actually really enjoyed this movie.
Sure, me too.
But
it sounds like we didn't, but I did.
We're just being critical of it because
We're assholes.
It did a lot really well and like kept my attention, but it flatlined in too many places right up until the end when all of a sudden it strains credulity. So for the first 2 acts, it's very solidly like, hey, this is the real world where you wouldn't be running from the cartel and you wouldn't find a giant tiger in the car. It's not The Hangover. It's not a zany road movie.
No.
It was very slice of life up until the end when they do a home invasion.
Yeah.
And it's goofy. It's like a slapstick home invasion.
When it happens, you don't feel scared for them in any way. You don't feel excited or nervous. And I was at a point where I was like, he's probably just going to get his shit back. There's going to be some kind of fight, and like he's going to get his shit back, and they're going to leave and head
And then
off.
the movie just ends.
Yeah.
He just gets on a bus to L.A. and the other guy gets on a bus to Vegas, and that's it.
It ends with him hanging out at a slot machine.
Yeah, just walking around like, oh, I made it to Vegas.
Yep.
Cool.
He walks
This
into
kid's
a
going to go to art school, and we'll never talk again.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun? And I'm not,
Well, again, it's a weird film in the sense where it's like it's the story of these 2 guys having this sort of random meeting by happenstance and having this sort of significant experience with one another. And in that sense, just for that, it's an interesting film.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything overly special. It had good performances. Like when you told me what it was and I saw the description on Netflix, I went, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Rory picked a movie that he knows is going to aggravate me. It's going to be up its own ass.
I had a movie that I knew would just aggravate you, and I decided not to do that one. I watched it before I watched this one.
Well, okay. So I guess let's cut off the long, dumb road. Stream it or skip it.
If you're into talky indie films, I would say stream it.
I'm going to say Derek and Nikki don't watch this.
Specifically,
you guys will fucking hate it. But my overall recommendation is stream it.
Sure.
Just watch it. Check it out. So you can see what I'm talking about where a movie that Netflix can bring to you doesn't have to be smash, crash.
They
distributed it. They won the distribution
That's what I'm
rights.
talking about. Is that's totally
but
they're not making
it's got the little red N, so it's a Netflix movie.
Yeah, but they didn't make it. They just are paying those people for it.
But present that kind of stuff. I would rather watch a movie like that, which was pretty humble and didn't blow my hair back, but I went, oh, nice at the end.
Had some
as
fine
opposed to
themes
Project Power, where I just slammed the lid of my laptop and went to bed.
Yeah. Like, well, that was done. That was a thing I did.
I got through it.
Yeah. So of the 2, I mean, if you're going to watch one of the 2, watch The Long Dumb Road.
Okay, now what was this other movie you were going to make me watch?
I can't even remember the name for it. It was basically the story of this woman and this guy, and they made a company that's about you. It's like a bioorganic, like computer program. Like you drop it into your eye like an eye drop, and it would let you like experience the simulation for days, right? So like the whole thing starts with her, and she's like in the Alps skiing, and this is like maybe 1 second of her life into the real world. But like it's 4 days for her, like a couple of seconds. It's like 4 days, and it ends up glitching, and she kind of freaks out and is like okay with it. And someone died doing it, so like there's this whole fear of like, oh, watch out, this is potentially dangerous. She's okay because she just realizes it's a glitch, but it like melts your brain if it like fucks with you too much. Because again, like, you've ever seen like a computer program break down, everything kind of fractals out and spirals and stuff. Like, imagine if you were in a world like this and suddenly like the fucking wall just started fractaling out at your face. You're like, oh my God, this is fucking me up. So some guy died that was very important to him. It's very vague. She ends up testing because they've got like 8 days until the beta's over, or until it opens and people can use this fucking thing. And she sees it as being like it's Second Life or something. It's got some stupid name like that. That's the name of the movie. Like Other Life, I think. I know that's not it. It's going to bother me now. God damn it. Anyways.
It seems I've had the final laugh.
This was a frustrating movie. I almost made you watch this. But so she kind of fucks up and brings some of it, her code home, and tests it. And like she's hanging out with this dude, and she lets him have a drop in his eye, and he like goes away for 4 days skiing, and he comes back and he's like, oh wow, because that's like the program she tests. And she like gets a text and turns over, and he like puts a bunch of it in his eye and fucking dies. So the court comes in and or these prosecutors come in, whoever the fuck they are, and they really want to use this technology as a prison. They want to be like, well, if somebody comes in for a 25-year stint, we want to be able to just put a drop in their eyes and process them out the door. That's their correction. We program them a correction software. And she's like, that's not what this is for. This is like for you to be able to come home on your lunch break from your work and get 4 or 5 day vacation with your family. Like, that's what it was for. It's supposed to free people, not imprison them. But they give her the option to be the tester of this thing. So she has to take 365 days in her own software in a cube, basically. And so she's in this fucking thing, and she does the 365 days, this big fucking thing on the wall that tells you what day you're on. She basically gets broke in solitary confinement for 365 days. But on the 365th day, it resets. And she's like, oh, she kind of freaks out. And she like breaks out of this little cage to find that she's in the real fucking world. And they've just been fucking with her. And, they just basically knocked her out and put her in a hole so that he could run the company. And they pretended that she sold her shares, and he's using it to...
I mean, this sounds really interesting.
It's not.
It sounds very interesting.
It's not. It sounds interesting because I'm doing a good job explaining it. But
okay,
then
easy. Don't break your arm jerking yourself off here.
It's too late. So she breaks out and finds out that he's taken over the company and that he's using it to make millions and millions of dollars in the private prison industry. Okay, so that's what he's doing. And you get far into it, and she's like unraveling the whole fucking thing. And then she wakes up because that was part of her sentence. Oh, it's like changed her mind. And she realized she never wants to let anyone use this again. And this fucking asshole drops some of this shit in her eye again because he needs a little bit more data for them to like make a breakthrough, which is not well explained. And so she's like super smart though, and like knows the code and realizes that it's all a fucking thing. So she just meditates her way out of it and gets up and smears his eyes, and he gets stuck in the fucking thing for 365 days. And it breaks him, and he comes out of it like, holy shit, we can't do that. You're right. And the fucking movie ends.
Okay. All right. Well,
I
might still watch this.
And it's her like on a beach where her brother died. He's like smiling as he goes out into the waves. And one of those kind of things. And again, there's a bunch of it. Like he drowned in the fucking simulation again. It's like one of those kind of things. It's like, what's real? It's all chemicals. So if it's all chemicals, eventually we can make you believe whatever you want. And there's some interesting themes there in this film. But I promise you, when you watch it, you're going to realize why I decided not to make you watch it.
Well, I won't be doing it anytime soon, but, at some
tonight.
point...
You're going to watch it tonight.
I got to get to the Red Room, so...
You're going to watch it this weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
You're going to watch it Monday. Instead of doing that podcast with Jeff, you're going to watch this film.
The podcast
podcast
is done, baby. It's coming out Monday, and it's called Out on That Line, and you should listen to it.
What about the second podcast? Well, I forbid you to do the second podcast. And you must watch this film and said, Jeff, watch the film. I didn't tell you guys the name for it, so search aimlessly. It's an hour and a half. That's all I can tell you.
I'll find it. And I'll send you screenshots.
It's called Mine's Butt.
There you go.
Well,
speaking of Mine's Butt, we've been going for a while. This is a long one.
Yeah, it was a long one.
I think we should probably call it a day.
Fuck you.
I'd like to add more humorous material, but I think we got enough here.
Yeah, we rambled about the movies. We did a lot of movie talk this podcast. We opened up with some fun stuff, so maybe they skipped this part. I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
Maybe they don't like hearing us talk about movies. Do you? We can't tell because our audience interaction is shit.
Why don't you go on Twitter at Skimbo Lounge and tweet at us and just talk to us? Go on our Instagram at Skimbo Lounge and look at pictures that we put up. Hell, write to us, skimbolounge@gmail.com.
Tell us how much you hate us.
Yeah,
we don't care.
Send us your resume. We'll fix it for you.
We just wanted to know that you felt something. Anger is a feeling as well. See, that's Eurotrash Rory trying to get to you. He's actually surprisingly deep and woke.
Bringing it full circle.
Except for the banana hammocks.
And the racism. But,
oh my God, he slipped that in there.
He owns a racist car wash. But, yeah, so
we
anyway.
do not allow Ecuadorians at this particular car wash. Wow, that's a really specific brand of racism.
Yes.
Everyone else is welcome except for the Ecuadorians. I know what you did.
Well, as far as I know, we don't have any fans in Ecuador, so
actually we've had listens in Ecuador before.
We'll let that one slide.
We have a surprising amount of countries that listen to this. I looked the other day; it's over 50 people.
Well, bots can come from any country
over 50
these days.
countries. I mean, yeah, we have over 50 different countries worth of robots listening.
Hey,
so blorp, my future overlords.
Ireland, if you're listening, we still haven't heard from you.
Yeah.
So this is your opportunity. We just told you how to get in touch with us. We'll be back next week with more zany adventures. And in the meantime, you've got this podcast, you've got the Out on That Line, you've got an embarrassment of riches. And I'm mostly just embarrassed. Rory, you got anything you want to plug before we shut this off?
No.
Your cervix. And on that note, thank you, go fuck yourselves, and goodbye.